Discover the incredible moment when a little girl reveals a life-changing truth about kindness. In the quaint suburbs of Brookfield, where every house stood like a friend, a little girl named Lily watched the world with wide, curious eyes. She often felt like a garden, blooming bright and full of hope in a community that sometimes forgot to tend to its own roots. Raised by her single mother, who juggled 2 jobs with the grace of a tightrope walker, Lily struggled with the weight of loneliness. The morning smiles exchanged during walks seemed to be a reminder of the warmth she longed for, a connection deeper than mere pleasantries. Her heart overflowed with kindness. Each Saturday, she volunteered at the local community center, where she met extraordinary people. There was Mr. Thompson, the elderly war veteran who sat on his porch, lost in memories of battles fought and friends lost. Lily would bring him lemonade, and in return, she received stories that wrapped around her like a cozy blanket on a chilly night. Then there was Sarah, a single mother of 3 who rushed from shift to shift, barely catching her breath. Lily admired her strength, often offering little acts of help that, to her, felt tiny, but to Sarah, made a world of difference. But tensions brewed in the community. A shiny new development project threatened to displace families, promising jobs yet disregarding the very essence of Brookfield. The upcoming town hall meeting buzzed with anxiety, the air felt thick with unspoken worries. Adults argued over the fate of their neighborhood, voices rising and falling like unearthed tension. Lily's heart raced. She had heard the stories, felt the pain, and knew the importance of compassion and unity. When the day of the meeting arrived, Lily's small frame stood at the podium, her voice quivering. "Please, we need to take care of each other," she implored, her eyes searching the crowd. But instead of understanding, dismissive chuckles echoed back. The laughter stung like a burst of cold wind, leaving her feeling small, almost invisible. She could taste the weight of doubt creeping into her heart. Just as she was about to retreat into silence, Mr. Thompson rose from his seat. With a weathered face softened by time, he stepped forward. "Let me tell you something about this girl," he began, his voice steady and warm. He shared how Lily's small acts of kindness had brightened his lonely evenings, drawing gasps from the audience. Slowly, the atmosphere shifted. Support began to ripple through the crowd like a warm summer breeze. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue, but the battle was far from over. Voices rose in disagreement, those clinging to their jeers battling with those swayed by Mr. Thompson's words of truth. Tension crackled like electricity, and the crowd felt divided. Some saw the imperative to uplift and support one another, while others remained stubbornly tethered to a cold, harsh meritocracy. In that moment, with emotions boiling, Lily stood at a crossroads of doubt and courage. She was just one little voice in a sea of conflict. A flicker of resolve sparked within her. Would this be the moment that changed everything for Brookfield? Would her dreams of a kinder, more connected community become her reality? Hearts raced, breaths held. What would happen next as the tension thickened, leaving everyone on the edge of what was about to unfold? Lily felt her heart pounding louder than the buzzing electricity in the room. She took a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of thoughts in her head. Could she really make a difference? The laughter, the scorn, those echoes still lingered in the back of her mind. But then, she looked at Mr. Thompson, who nodded at her, his eyes encouraging. It ignited something inside her, a light that needed to shine. "I have a story too," she said, her voice trembling at first, then growing stronger. "A story about kindness." The crowd shifted. She took a step closer to the mic, leaning in like she was inviting them into a secret only she knew. "I once saw a man in the park. He was sitting alone, just like Mr. Thompson." She paused, her gaze wandering over the faces in the audience. "And I thought, if I share my ice cream with him, maybe he'd feel a little less lonely." Some people chuckled, but Lily kept going. I know it sounds silly, but when I did, his whole face lit up. He told me how he hadn't shared laughter with anyone in months. The room felt like it was holding its breath. She could see the parents shifting uneasily, the kids exchanging glances. Lily felt as if she weren't just speaking, she was weaving the fabric of connection that her community desperately needed. I learned that a small act can mean so much. Maybe we can all find a way to do that for one another, she declared, her conviction shining. What if we all looked out for each other? What if we made sure no one felt alone? Her heart raced, fueled by pure hope. Around the room, some faces softened. A woman in the back wiped away a tear. Nearby, a man leaned forward, his expression one of contemplation. The arguments had quieted. For the first time that evening, hopes began to replace doubts, but not everyone was swayed. A voice tore through the newfound calm. This isn't a fairy tale. It was a familiar voice, one filled with skepticism. You think kindness can fix everything? Why should we care about those too lazy to help themselves? The chill in the air returned, sharp and biting. Lily's heart sank, but she refused to give up. It doesn't have to fix everything, she replied, her voice steady, finding strength within. It just has to start somewhere. Look around. Brookfield is an amazing place with so many unique stories, people like Mr. Thompson and Sarah. We are more together than apart. A ripple of murmurs began again, some agreeing, others still resistant. But the dissenting voices had less energy now. Lily could feel the shift in the room, like warmth thawing ice. Maybe this was what it meant to connect, to stand firm for kindness despite the storms of negativity. Then, as fate would have it, Mr. Thompson rose once more. I served my country, fought with brave souls. And I've learned that our strength is built on compassion. The crowd hushed again, eager for his words. Just when everyone thought the tide was turning, an unexpected figure entered the back of the hall, Mayor Jenkins himself. The atmosphere shifted once more, uncertainty swirling in his wake. With a reputation for being cold and calculating, eyes turned cautiously toward him, the crowd whispering hushed speculations. What would he say? Would he support Lily or seek to shut her down? The meeting hung in suspense, teetering on the brink of something monumental. Everything depended on this moment. Lily felt her breath quicken. Could this be where they truly turned the tide for Brookfield? Would kindness really prevail? As the mayor stepped forward, an electric anticipation crackled through the room. What truth would he reveal? The mayor stood silently at the front, his imposing figure casting a long shadow across the room. The chatter ceased, and all eyes were glued to him, a mix of curiosity and apprehension hanging heavily in the air. He shifted his weight slightly, clearing his throat as he met Lily's gaze. Thank you, everyone, for your passion, he began, his voice low but resonating deeply. I've listened to all of you tonight. I've seen both the kindness and the skepticism in this room. He paused as if reflecting on his own words, giving everyone a moment to absorb them. Lily's heart raced. What was he truly thinking? Was he about to praise the very idea she fought for, or would he dismiss it as childish fantasy? You know, I was once a kid like you, he continued, and murmurs fluttered amongst the audience like butterflies taking flight. I had dreams of changing my community, making it a better place just like you do. His admission felt like a crack in the wall, a glimpse of the man behind the facade. Lily leaned in, sensing something bigger unfolding. But then he added, yet, over the years, I've seen how easy it is to lose sight of that dream. To be overwhelmed by the challenges, the anger, and the responsibility. The frustration in his voice was palpable. A lot of people think they can't make a difference, but simply giving up isn't the answer. He turned his gaze to Lily, a spark igniting in his eyes. But here you are, Lily. Sharing your stories and your heart. You remind me of why I started in politics in the first place. The crowd shifted again, the tension easing slightly. They were leaning into the moment, allowing hope to wash over them. I believe there's power in kindness, the mayor continued, his voice firm and steady. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about small steps, just like the ones Lily described. He glanced around the room, challenging them to embrace the idea. No one is too small to make a difference. Look at Mr. Thompson or the connections you can build with the person next to you. Lily could see it starting a shift not just in the room but in people's hearts. The grumbling voices of dissent were dwindling, being overshadowed by something warmer. The once cynical attitudes transformed into curiosity and a real desire for change. The mayor paused again, letting the weight of his words settle. Maybe we can create a community that values kindness over conflict. A Brookfield where no one is left behind. At that moment, the atmosphere shifted, turning electric. The crowd erupted with an unexpected round of applause. Parents smiled at their children, exchanging meaningful glances that spoke of unspoken commitments. Lily felt tears spring to her eyes. She hadn't just sparked a conversation, she was part of something bigger. The mayor was opening the door. Just as the applause began to die down, another voice cut through the atmosphere, a voice that silenced the cheers and murmurs. Mayor Jenkins, that's all well and good, but what are we going to do about the homeless? They need real solutions, not just empty promises. It was the skeptic from earlier, his voice sharp and almost desperate. The mayor glanced toward him, his expression hardening slightly. You're right, he said, the tension creeping back into the room. And that's why we need to work together. We need to turn those stories of kindness into actions that reach every corner of our town. The buzz of conversation ignited once more, but now it felt different, fueled by determination rather than doubt. Lily sensed her opportunity slipping away. What if we created a community event? She blurted out suddenly, surprising even herself. An event? The mayor turned to her, intrigued by her enthusiasm. What do you have in mind? Lily took a deep breath. A kindness festival. We could invite everyone to share our stories, our talents, and our ideas for community service. It could be a place to show that we care. The crowd held its breath, and Lily's heart pounded as the mayor considered her words. People could volunteer, she continued, emboldened. We could feed the hungry. Clean up our parks, and even support local artists. The mayor nodded slowly, a thoughtful look on his face. And in that moment, every eye in the hall held an eagerness that set the stage for the next bold step. Lily knew change was near. But as the crowd buzzed with excitement, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Would they all be willing to embrace her vision, and if so, what challenges would they face together? Lily felt a surge of hope ripple through her as she caught the mayor's eye. His nod was more than just acknowledgement, it felt like an unspoken agreement between dreamers. She couldn't help but smile wide, envisioning the festival in her mind, with colorful banners, laughter, and a unity that could heal her town. Let's start with some brainstorming sessions, the mayor said, his authoritative voice breaking through her thoughts. We'll need volunteers to help organize this festival. I want those ideas, Lily. Let's make this happen. The room erupted again, but this time it was with enthusiasm. Heads bobbed, and hands shot up as people expressed their willingness to help. A woman in the back yelled, I can handle the food donations. While Mr. Thompson chimed in, I know some great local musicians who'd love to play. Lily felt a swell in her chest. Hearts were coming together in ways she had only imagined. Each person, saying I'm in, connected her deeper to the vision that had sparked that day in her school cafeteria. Yet, as excitement crackled in the air, Lily couldn't help but feel a twinge of doubt. What if they didn't follow through? She bit her lip, pushing the thoughts away. She had to believe in them, just as they were starting to believe in kindness. Lily, how do you see this festival running? The mayor asked again, pulling her back into the moment. With a shaky breath, she started laying out her ideas, workshops on how to help others, storytelling corners to share personal stories of overcoming hardships, and art installations that would represent community voices. The more she spoke, the more she could literally see the wheels turning in her neighbors' minds. Suddenly, a familiar voice interrupted, a soft but sharp reminder of what lay beneath the surface. It was her best friend, Sarah, a girl who had always been supportive but now wore a hesitant expression. "But, Lily," Sarah said slowly, "what if people don't show? What if we end up with a bunch of empty booths? What if nobody really cares?" The room went quiet again, tension hanging like a thick fog. It felt like a punch to Lily's hopeful spirit. The very thought that her classmates and neighbors wouldn't show up stung. After all this discussion, what if it fell flat? Catching her breath, Lily felt her chest tighten. I believe they will," she replied, her voice wavering but determined. "If we could come together now, in this room, why not on that day too? It's about making the first step. Just like the mayor said. We've got to bridge the gaps." Hesitation flickered in the crowd, then a man at the back stood up. "I know it won't be easy," he said slowly, "but I want to help." Others began murmuring their agreements, rallying around a shared determination that began to overshadow fear. The mayor smiled, sensing the shift. "See? We have the spark. And it's not about individual contributions, it's about how we come together." Lily's heart raced. Could it really be happening? A sense of duty ignited inside her. She had to make them believe in this, to share not just her vision but also her heart. "Let us not just talk right now," she said, her every word firing like arrows of encouragement. "Let us decide to show those who are struggling that we care, that we're here for them." As a new wave of cheers filled the room, Lily turned the cheer into a challenge. "Come on. Let us meet again next week, and bring one friend who hasn't been able to participate yet. We can spread the message together." The crowd erupted with renewed energy, but just as she felt the rising tide of hope, another voice pierced through the room. It was the skeptic again. "And if it fails?" he challenged. As rumblings of uncertainty filled the air, Lily felt the need to prove herself intensify. Would they still stand by her side if the festival didn't go as planned? Would kindness still shine in a world tempted to ignore the struggles of others? She took a breath, hesitation turning into fierce determination. "Failure is just part of the journey. But I believe in us, and the power of starting something real." With that, she scanned the sea of faces, feeling a mix of hope, anxiety, and the flicker of potential change. How strong was the bond they were creating? And would they still choose to carry on when challenges arose? As the meeting dissolved into laughter and excitement, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that the hardest parts were yet to come. The following week, anticipation filled the air as the community gathered again at the town hall. Colorful flyers announcing the festival were plastered everywhere, fluttering like promises in the breeze. Lily stood at the entrance, greeting each neighbor with a newfound excitement. She could feel the festival's heartbeat beginning to pulse, her dream uniting them in ways she had never imagined. Inside, the energy was electric. Tables filled with eager volunteers were set up, brimming with ideas, sketches, and colorful markers. It felt as though creativity itself was soaring through the room, with laughter and excitement bouncing off the walls. But there was also an underlying tension, a peace that gnawed at the edges of Lily's joy. Would this be enough to keep them engaged? "Let us get started," the mayor called, clapping his hands to gather attention. "Today, we take our ideas and turn them into plans." Lily shared her thoughts on options for workshops, stressing community collaboration rather than competition. People chimed in enthusiastically, weaving together their own experiences with the themes of kindness and support. An elderly man, Mr. Johnson, recounted stories of how the town had come together after the floods last year. "We can do this again," he said, his voice steady despite the wisdom-infused wrinkles on his face. As everyone embraced the challenge, Lily noticed Sarah sitting quietly. Her best friend, usually so vibrant, had a distant look in her eyes. During a break, Lily wandered over to her. "Hey, you okay?" she asked gently. Sarah sighed, hesitation clouding her features. I don't know, Lily. What if we really do bring in the people, and they don't like it? What if they don't see the value in it? What if all of this is just hope-filled wishes?" Lily felt her heart squeeze. But what if they do? What if we touch lives in a way nobody ever expected? Every doubt we have is just part of the climb. Sarah smiled slightly but still seemed unconvinced. I get that. It's just I've seen things not work out before. Yeah, Lily replied, but I also believe that even if we stumble, it's okay. We're attempting to do something wonderful. Isn't that worth it? As the workshop reconvened, the energy around them started to shift. More ideas were sparked. Kayla from the town's art center suggested a mural that would allow everyone to express what kindness meant to them. Sparks lit in Lily's chest. Each contribution felt like a stitch weaving them tighter together and erasing the lonely barriers that had once distanced them. Just as enthusiasm boomed, the door swung open abruptly, and in walked a newcomer Lily hadn't seen him before. An uncertain boy, perhaps around 13, with messy hair and bruised jeans. Is this where the festival planning is? He asked, sounding almost shy. Absolutely. Lily beamed, eager to pull him into their rhythm. We could use your ideas. What do you think kindness means? The boy glanced around, shrugging. I don't know. Just trying to get by, I guess. People don't really care about each other anymore. Silence washed over the group. Lily's heart sank. There it was, the blunt truth that reminded her of every reason why they were here in the first place. But we want to change that, right? We want to show everyone that we care, she said, her voice gaining strength. He stared at her, his eyes flickering with uncertainty. I don't know if that can happen. Let us prove him wrong. Shouted the mayor, breaking the tension. Let us reach out to him and others who felt the same. Every voice matters. A yearning to connect pulsed through the crowd. What if this boy and others like him were the very reason the festival was essential? Before long, chatter erupted again, filled with creativity and plans to reach out. But in the back of her mind, Lily knew that the journey ahead would be bumpy. The more they pushed forward, the more uncertainty loomed. As they wrapped up for the day, she felt an urge to gather everyone in a circle. Let us hold hands, she instructed, because this is about solidarity. It's about every single person in this room believing that we can change lives together. In that moment, she allowed her heart to really breathe. Even as laughter spilled and hope illuminated their faces, a deep question clung to her mind. Would they truly be able to overcome whatever arose next? As they formed their circle, Lily locked eyes with Sarah and the newcomer, knowing the true test was still on the horizon. What would happen when obstacles emerged? Would they hold on to hope, or let darkness sneak in? With hearts intertwined, the answer began to dwell within the space they had created, a space where kindness could flourish against all odds. The following week, as the festival drew closer, the air buzzed with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Lily could feel it in her bones. This was it. Days bled into one another with endless meetings, brainstorming sessions, and last-minute adjustments. Each conversation weaved a tighter fabric of community, yet an undercurrent of fear rippled beneath the surface. Somewhere in her heart, doubts pulsed. Was this really going to work? On the day of the mural painting, a vibrant sun hung high in the sky, painting everything in cheerful hues. The church basement was a messy explosion of color, a mix of paint tubes and palettes, laughter echoing against the walls. Lily stood in front of the easel, the blank canvas looming before her like a promise yet to be fulfilled. All right, everyone. She called out. Today we create something beautiful. Remember, this is a space for every voice. A sense of belonging enveloped the room. Just as paints began to splatter and swirl onto the canvas, she caught a glimpse of the newcomer Jordan. He was nervously tugging at the hem of his too big sweatshirt, watching the others paint. Ignoring her own nerves, Lily swayed over. Hey! What do you think? Want to pick some colors? He shrugged, glancing at the current scene. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. That's the beauty of it. It's about the feeling, not the talent. Kindness isn't perfect, it's messy, like this paint. Jordan met her gaze, a flicker of something sparked in his eyes. Hesitation melted away momentarily, and he reached for a bright yellow. "Okay, I'll try." As the hours rolled on, laughter erupted from every corner. They shared sandwiches and stories, painting not just a mural but shared experiences. Yet, in the midst of this blossoming unity, Sarah's absence loomed heavy. Lily felt her chest tighten. What had happened to her friend? The festival was supposed to include everyone, and Sarah's silence was a gaping hole in their community. Just as Lily found herself distracted with worry, the door swung open. In walked Sarah, her face drawn and slightly gaunt, as if carrying an invisible weight. Lily felt her heart drop. "There you are. We've missed you." "I know," Sarah whispered, barely meeting her eyes. I've been struggling. It's hard for me to see all this excitement." "What if it fails, Lily?" "To be honest, I feel that too. But today's about trying," she replied, not revealing her own fears. "Look around. We're all here together." With a timid nod, Sarah stepped inside, hands tucked deep into her pockets. Slowly, she moved toward the canvas. It was as if those vibrant colors began to work their magic. Each stroke filled the gaps, pulling her back into the circle. Lily watched as the mural evolved, but then, a little girl sat cross-legged beside it, her round eyes scanning the various colors. "What's kindness?" she asked, breaking through the creative chaos like a bell tolling. Everyone paused. Lily's chest tightened at the weight of the question, the very essence of why they were all gathered. The room fell silent, but soon laughter and chatter buzzed again. Yet, the girl continued to look up, expectant. Before anyone could answer, Jordan stepped forward, paint smeared across his forehead and cheeks. "I think it's about trying. Just like we're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real." Lily's heart swelled. It was such a simple answer, yet profoundly deep. The murmurs of agreement surged through the group. As the afternoon faded, laughter filled the air again, but the question lingered in the back of her mind. Would they all continue to try when the storm clouds returned? Would the enthusiasm they felt today survive the moments of doubt tomorrow? Before they parted for the evening, Lily gathered everyone around the mural, their masterpiece. "Look what we created," she stated, voice shaky with emotion. "This is what kindness looks like: imperfect, colorful, and full of heart." The applause resonated through the room, but as she glanced toward Jordan, he wore a vulnerable expression. Lily smiled back, but beneath her joy, uncertainty brewed. As they dispersed, Jordan lingered, staring at the mural like a question mark. "Do you think people will really see it?" Lily nodded, determination sparking in her chest. "I hope they do. I believe in this." But deep down, doubt slipped in like a thief in the night. What if they never saw it at all? As the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows gathered around the edges of their project. Would they find the strength in moments of darkness, or succumb to the doubt creeping in? And just like that, the air thickened with tension and the walls of hope began to tremble. Would their fragile tapestry of kindness survive the truth waiting just beyond the horizon? The festival arrived, a kaleidoscope of color and sound. Banners whipped in the breeze, laughter floated through the air, and the rich aroma of street food wafted in, mingling with the scent of freshly painted murals. The entire community gathered, ready to celebrate their collective effort, yet Lily's heart felt heavy. She stood with Sarah and Jordan near the mural, its colors vibrant under the blue sky. The energy was contagious, but a nagging doubt wormed its way through her thoughts. What if people don't understand the message? She murmured to Sarah, the concern clear in her voice. Sarah shrugged, a hint of anxiety flashing in her eyes. "It looks beautiful, Lily. But what if they only see the paint, or the mistakes? What if they don't see us?" Before Lily could answer, a small crowd gathered, including the little girl who had asked about kindness. She tugged at her mother's hand, eyes wide with wonder. "Can I see the mural?" she asked, her voice eager. Lily knelt beside her, wanting to catch that radiance. Of course. What do you see? The girl pointed, her finger tracing the swirling colors. I see a rainbow, she exclaimed. And the sun is smiling. Other children joined in, mesmerized by the mural. Each one found their own meaning, their own stories woven into the strokes of paint. Laughter bubbled up around them, drowning Lily's worries, if only for a moment. Look at them, Jordan said quietly, watching the kids. They get it, don't they? I think so, Lily replied, feeling a flicker of hope reignite within her. The little girl knelt down, eyes bright as she turned back to Lily. Is the rainbow about kindness? Lily hesitated. Well, yes, it can be. Kindness is all those beautiful colors. Different together. The girl nodded, then posed a question that struck a chord deeper than any playful chatter. But why is there blue? Lily's eyes widened. She hadn't thought of it. Well, sometimes kindness feels different. Like being sad or alone, but then finding friends. A shadow crossed the girl's face momentarily, but she smiled. Like when I had no one to play with? Yes. Lily's heart ached with recognition. Exactly like that. But then you reach out, you share, you connect. In that moment, the air shifted. Lily realized that they were painting more than a mural, they were painting emotions, experiences. As the festival continued, people began to meander toward the mural. Many paused, their faces etched with curiosity. Some leaned in to touch the colors, as if to feel the love infused in every brushstroke. The air buzzed with palpable energy, yet, doubt nagged at Lily. She could see people's faces light up, but would they reflect on it later? Would this small moment of inspiration last beyond the day? Do you think they'll understand? Sarah questioned, echoing Lily's thoughts as she glanced at the growing crowd. Hopefully, Lily said, her voice steadier than she felt. Just then, another little boy approached the mural, his eyes gleaming with excitement. This is magic. Look. I see my cat in there. Lily couldn't help but smile at the child's imagination. It was astounding how one simple mural could spark such profound reactions. It was the beauty of community surfacing in unexpected ways. They huddled together, exchanging stories and laughter, but in the midst of it all, Lily felt a subtle chill. The festival's vibrancy thumped like a heartbeat, exhilarating yet nervous. Was their breakthrough moment real enough to withstand scrutiny? As the sun set, casting long shadows on the pavement, Jordan's voice broke through her thoughts. What if tomorrow, no one remembers this? Maybe it's okay, Lily replied, fear and resolve mingling in her chest. Maybe kindness doesn't need to be remembered, it just needs to be felt. But deep down, she wondered. Could the fleeting moments of happiness they created truly linger? As fireworks erupted above, filling the sky with shimmering lights, Lily caught a glimpse of the mural reflecting the colors, bright and chaotic. She closed her eyes for a moment, willing the doubts to fade. But uncertainty nagged in her gut. Would they find a way to keep that warmth alive? And then, just as the last fireworks faded, a shadow flickered across the crowd. Someone seemed to be watching, eyes scanning the scene with intensity. Why did it feel like something bigger was about to unfold? The crowd began to disperse, laughter echoing like the fading music of the festival. Yet, Lily couldn't shake off the uneasy feeling lingering in her heart. Despite the joy around her, the shadow she had seen felt real, almost suffocating in its intensity. It was as if a storm was brewing just beyond the horizon of their celebration. As people drifted away, she remained rooted near the mural, her thoughts swirling like the colors on the canvas. Sarah and Jordan chatted about the day's success, but Lily's focus was drawn toward the little girl, the one who had illuminated the mural's colors with her innocent perspective. She turned to find the child still near the painting, entranced by the vibrant scene. Hey there! Lily called gently, kneeling beside her. What do you see now? The girl's eyes sparkled with inspiration. I see everyone's happiness. Look. She pointed, each movement graceful as she traced the shapes with her fingers. But why doesn't everyone feel happy all the time? Lily swallowed hard. She should have expected the question. Sometimes, the world can be heavy. But that's why kindness is so important. It helps lift each other up. The little girl's brow furrowed in thought. But how can we make it last? I want everyone to always feel like this. Just like today. Beneath the weight of her words, Lily felt the flutter of hope and anxiety intertwining. That's the challenge, isn't it? She said. Kindness is a bit like a seed. You plant it, you nurture it, and it can grow into something beautiful. Can I help? The girl's enthusiasm was infectious. Absolutely. The more we share kindness, the more it spreads. Just as the little girl beamed, drawing her mother's attention, the shadow from before emerged, a tall figure edged with an air of authority. A hush swept through the festival grounds. The atmosphere shifted, the laughter of children and the chatter of friends falling silent. Everyone instinctively turned toward the newcomer. Excuse me. The figure called, voice commanding yet strangely melodic. Is this the work of the mural team? Lily's heart raced in her chest. She stood, feeling a warmth seep through her veins. For a fleeting moment, she believed this could be a moment of recognition, maybe validation. Yes, we painted it together. She said, her voice ringing with an unexpected steadiness. The man stepped closer, eyes sweeping over the intricate brushwork that wove a tale of emotion and connection. He nodded slowly, and for a heartbeat, pride bubbled in Lily's chest. Then you should know, I've been asked to take this mural to a larger audience. He paused, gauging their reactions. I represent a new initiative aimed at sharing your message across the state. Confusion washed over her. What do you mean? His deep voice quelled her words. I see the potential in what you've created. A true reflection of community spirit. This could be displayed in schools, art programs. You could inspire so many. The crowd stirred, anticipation rippling through them. This is amazing. Jordan exclaimed, throwing an arm around Lily's shoulders. Lily, this is what you wanted, isn't it? But as excitement spread, doubt crept in again, clawing at her heart. What if they lost the essence of their message in translation? Wait, but what if they don't understand what it means? What if it's just a pretty picture to them? The man's expression softened. That's why it's essential to keep the story alive. We'll need you. Your passion, your voice. Will you step forward? Lily looked at Sarah, then at the little girl, who had grown quiet, reflecting. Could she take on that responsibility? This was more than just art now, it was a chance to share their message and their struggles. Before she could reply, the child stepped forward, looking directly at the stranger. It's about kindness. And colors. You have to make sure they remember that. A hush fell over the group. In that moment, Lily felt the ground shift beneath her. The girl's innocence sparked something in her, igniting the flame of responsibility. The weight of kindness felt heavier and lighter all at once. Could they really spread their story wide enough to touch lives? And what if in doing so, they discovered something unexpected about themselves along the way? Lily felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her, a mix of excitement and dread swirling together in her chest. The crowd shifted, anticipation crackling in the air like static. The little girl, blissfully unaware of the gravity of her words, stood tall and confident. Lily felt a smile tug at her lips, but doubt still gnawed at her. Would we really be able to get people to believe in kindness? She whispered under her breath. The mural, her creation, stood as a testament to that belief, but could it truly transcend the artists who created it? Lily. Sarah's voice broke through her thoughts, filled with eagerness. You have to say yes. This is huge. Lily took a deep breath. What about the stories behind the mural? All the little things that inspired us. That's why you're here, the man interjected, voice steady and warm. To guide the narrative. Your experiences, your heart, it will shape how others see it. Think of the faces that could light up across the state. Each word sunk deeper into her, like roots searching for nourishment. She wanted to say yes, to jump at this opportunity that felt so right and yet so terrifying. But how could she ensure that her vision wasn't diluted? The little girl fidgeted, unimpressed by the adults' serious faces. Are we going to help everyone be happy? Her sincerity hung in the air, unyielding. Lily knelt beside her, heart swelling. That's the plan. We want to spread kindness, just like we talked about. But it's not easy. Kindness isn't easy. The girl looked puzzled. But it's so nice. Yes, it is. But sometimes it can be really hard to be kind, especially when things get tricky. You have to keep reminding people. Nodding, the girl turned back to the mural, eyes bright with hope. Then let us remind them. We can do it together. Lily chuckled, warmth flooding through her. You are so right. We all need to remind each other about kindness. Jordan beamed as he joined the conversation. And we'll help you grow those seeds of kindness. Imagine what it could be like. You'll be like kindness ambassadors. The idea began to take shape in Lily's mind. If they could shine a light on their story, could it help others remember the importance of compassion? The thought made her chest feel less heavy, as if a small part of that storm had begun to clear. Okay, she finally said, glancing back at the man. I'm in. But we'll need to make sure we do it right. A wave of cheers erupted from the crowd, and the little girl jumped up and down, filled with glee. Laughter returned to the festival atmosphere, a wondrous sound that swept through her like a stream of light. As they celebrated this unexpected turn, Lily felt a sense of purpose starting to bloom. She locked eyes with the man, who nodded, clearly recognizing her determination, but then a voice from the back of the crowd called out, cutting through the joy. And what if no one listens? What if it all falls flat? Silence fell again. The shadow of doubt loomed large, threatening to steal the joy they had just reclaimed. Kindness is worth the fight, Lily declared, trying to hold on to her newfound resolve. We'll find a way. The girl's voice chimed in, yeah. And we'll make it colorful. With each passing moment, Lily felt more equipped to face whatever challenge lay ahead. She glanced around at her friends and the onlookers, sensing their support. Maybe together, they could turn this dream into a reality. Still, the voice of doubt echoed in her mind. What if their message wasn't enough? What if their chance to inspire slipped away? As the festival lights twinkled against the darkening sky, Lily clutched the little girl's hand, feeling the warmth of her belief. But would belief alone be enough to carry them through the challenges that awaited? And as night fell, the storm brewing inside Lily whispered ever louder. The festival was a resounding success, a mosaic of laughter, art, and connection swirling through Brookfield. Families gathered around the mural, eyes sparkling with curiosity and warmth. Lily stood among them, her heart swelling with pride. Suddenly, she felt lighter, as if a fog was lifting from her spirit. Shall we take a photo, everyone? The mayor called out, pulling everyone together in front of the vibrant mural. A cheer erupted, and Lily squeezed the little girl's hand, who clapped excitedly as they gathered close. Say, kindness, the mayor proclaimed. As the cameras flashed, Lily couldn't help but beam. She had done it. They had done it together. Just as the photo was taken, Lily's heart danced with possibility. Could this be the start of something grand? Hours slipped by like the warm breeze as people mingled, shared stories, and created bonds. But thoughts of the next step knotted in her stomach. What if this energy faded once the festival was over? What if all this happiness was just a passing flare? Ready to head home? Sarah asked, joining Lily, snapping her from her thoughts. Her friend's face radiated pride, yet concern danced in her eyes. Not quite yet, Lily replied, glancing back at the mural and the children drawing by its side. I feel like we need to carry this forward. Sarah looked thoughtful. You mean like actual plans? Yeah. How about we keep meeting? Maybe create a community kindness club? Yes. Jordan chimed in as he approached, eyes alight with enthusiasm. We could plan activities that continue spreading kindness, like community cleanups and sharing stories with the elderly. The energy around them surged with excitement. They all began brainstorming, voices overlapping as ideas flowed freely. It felt electric, all their aspirations gliding towards a brighter future. This was their moment to shine, to grow something everlasting together. As they spoke, Mayor Jenkins approached, his expression warm. I was impressed with your ideas today, he said. What you three have started doesn't have to end with this festival. I'd like to support that kindness club you envisioned. Lily could hardly contain her joy. Really? You'd help us? Absolutely. Kindness isn't just words, it's action. Your mural can inspire not just Brookfield, but others beyond as well. His affirmation ignited a blaze within her. Everything they dreamed of was suddenly tangible, yet, just as the collective enthusiasm reached its peak, a voice sliced through. It was the earlier skeptic, fingers pointing at the mural with alarming resolve. You think your actions will change anything? This is just a splash of paint and a few smiles. An uncomfortable silence fell. The harshness of his doubt clashed against the warmth of their joy. Lily's heart sunk as the crowd shifted uneasily, but she couldn't let this moment falter. Maybe it starts like this, she said, taking a step forward, her voice trembling but unwavering. Kindness is a small act, but every act can pull us together. It doesn't mean it's meaningless. Yeah. Jordan backed her up. And what if those small acts start a ripple effect? Let us show that every single gesture counts. The man huffed, but uncertainty flickered across his face. That hesitation was all Lily needed. Kindness is like the first spark of light breaking through the dark, she continued, fervor filling her voice. It influences others to act, to create connections. We just have to keep igniting it together. As if responding to her words, murmurs of agreement swelled through the crowd. People began nodding, a gentle testimony to hope unfurling in their hearts. What do you think would happen if we worked together? It could change our entire perspective of this town, Sarah added, gazing at the mural, now glowing with possibility. Eyes lit up, and laughter crept back into the air. Before long, others began echoing support, invigorated by their explanation of camaraderie and action. The skeptic shifted on his feet, absorbing their collective enthusiasm. His brows furrowed, but there was a glimmer of uncertainty. Fine, let us put this kindness to the test. And at that moment, something profound clicked for Lily. She realized they had already started the test. Change had begun with them. Together, they formed a circle, hands clasped, sharing an unshakable bond bridged through vulnerability and courage. Together they could hold the weight of their dreams for the town's future. With gratitude swelling in her heart, Lily knew this wouldn't be the end. They would share kindness beyond this day, not as isolated acts, but as a chorus of humanity. As dawn approached the following days, Lily pictured the colorful festival passing through Brookfield, planting seeds that would intertwine, growing families, connections, and a legacy of kindness throughout their tight-knit community. Standing firm in this arena of hope, Lily felt as if she was a part of something bigger, something timeless. And as they shouted this unity into the autumn night, she felt the warmth of solidarity wrap around them, illuminating the path ahead, sparking echoes of kindness waiting to ignite. You need to subscribe now to keep this inspiring story alive. Don't wait not even one more second to share this moment with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts and minds. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about how kindness changed everything in Brookfield. This is the moment to show your support for these extraordinary journeys. We can't do it without you.